So in the last video we saw how to make a table, and we can see that there are null entries here, so there's no data in this table. So in this video we will see how to insert the data, and you can see the select query that we auto generated using this thing here, this particular thing here. We will see more about this in this video also. So let's go. So this is the file which we were running. So in this step we will insert data. So to insert, we write insert, then where do we want to insert into, then we give the table name, which is customers, and then we specify the parameters in sequence, preferable, id, name, age, and address. So these are the uh, columns where I want to enter, and then the values that I want to enter is given by this. So we write values, so the computer knows that we are now entering the values here for the particular tables. Give brackets and a semicolon to end, and then we keep on specifying the values here. So we give name 1, id 1, name John, then we give age 30. Remember, we have to keep in mind the data types because there is no type conversion here, so we have to give the specific data type which we have mentioned. So if I have mentioned integer in age, I have to give an integer. If I specify a string, it will give me an error. And the address is a string, so we give an address as a London, and that's it. This is one query to insert into the customers table. So I'll choose the lightning eye symbol, and we can see that insert into customers has been successful and one row has been affected. So this is one way to insert value into database. But what if you don't want to write this much in the query? So this is another way which I'll show you. Insert into customer values, and you just specify the values directly. So you give a value of id of 2. Remember, it has to be unique, and the name as Jane, the age 25, and address as Toronto, and that's it. You go here, select, and run the I symbol, and it says that insert into customers has been successful. Now remember, we gave a not null parameter here. So how do we check that if it accepts a not null or not? So let me just copy this thing here, and I will go here. So you guys understood that what I did in this query, I just removed this whole part. So it is okay if you don't specify this thing, but it is not okay if you don't keep this in sequence. It has to be in sequence. Like, this is a one sequence, id, name, age, address, so this has to be in the same sequence itself. So I copied this thing here, and we will see if it accepts a null value here or not. So it is a 3, and let's give a null value in the name, and let's try it again. So let's see what happens. So I'll select this and run here. So it says it's an error, and it says column name cannot be null. So that's one of the error that you will be facing if you give a null value in a not null field. So let's give a name here, code, but let's give a similar id. So this is the id 2, and I'm giving a similar id 2 here. Let's run this here. So it says that error, duplicate entry 2 for key customers and primary. So there cannot be any duplicate entry also for the customers. So that's how the errors will be shown and the query won't run for you. Now we are blindly inserting values, but if we want to see what we are inserting, just do this simple thing, select, and then you select what fields do you want to select. We want to select id, we want to select name, we want to select age. So these particular things will be displayed in a tabular format when we mention or specify the columns. But what if we want every column? So we just specify a star, then select all the columns from which table. So we give customers table and give a semicolon, and that's it. And we select this thing here, and it will give us an output which has ID, name, age, address with the values that we entered. So we entered John and Jane in it, and it shows us everything John and Jane in the table. So that's how we insert values in the customers table and retrieve values using the select statement. We will look more into the select statement in the next video. So see you in the next video.